Can you hear me now, Amber? Perfect. Good. That's what this one was mostly for, was so we could figure it out, but I'm glad you're able to join us. Perfect. So, I'm going to screen share with you all so you'll be able to see what's happening on my screen. And so I'll go through just a small um, PowerPoint and then go over some of the assignments and show you Canvas as well. All right. And then I'll be able to hear you ding if you write a message, or you can just pop in verbally whenever. So, how are you all doing with going online, with all these new routines? Good. Yeah. Welcome, Christopher. I see you popped in. It is a hard transition, but thank you all so much for being willing to try new things and coming with me on this adventure. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this PowerPoint. I'm going to go over peer review first, since that is due on Thursday, April 2nd by midnight. So don't rush yourself, and it's okay if it's not perfect. Remember, we always have shitty first drafts, so it's all right if you don't feel incredibly confident. That's what those comments will be for. I will also go through and I will do marginal comments and an in comment on your drafts as well. So you'll get two responses from a peer and a response from me. Okay, and what that will look like if we go to discussions, so you'll pop into discussions and you'll see peer review A2 is what it is called. And so what you'll do is you'll have to upload a Word document. So if you go into here, you'll be able to do somewhere. Oh, here at the bottom, you can attach a Word document. And I have also linked you all to CSU's website to download Microsoft Office because it's free for all of you. So don't go pay for Word if you don't have it. This is so that you can all make comments and to make sure that your peers are able to open your papers. Okay, any questions about uploading a Word document? Perfect. So what you'll do is you'll make 6 marginal comments. You can reuse one of these 5 things. Doesn't matter if you do all 5, but just try and vary it so that your peer has different types of comments they can look back to. So you can ask a question, explain how you're understanding what they're saying, so re-summarizing their words to make sure they're being heard correctly. Elaborate on how you're reacting. So remember, when you're peer reviewing, you're acting as a reader and as an audience. So how is their logos, pathos, and ethos? You could identify where they've recalled back to their thesis, or maybe where you think they need to recall back to their thesis. And you can also comment on paragraph development, which we'll talk about here in a second. After you do that, you'll leave one comment at the bottom, kind of summarizing all the things that you said in your marginal comments, and also giving one overall comment on how they have done on this draft. I have attached the hierarchy, which you can use to make some of these comments, so answer maybe some of these questions, but you can also go down and see how well they're fitting the criteria for an A or a B, and so on and so forth. Okay, any questions on how to make those comments and what's required for peer review? Perfect. Of course, just email me and let me know. If I do hear a lot of confusion from people who aren't on this Discord, I will make another peer review video and kind of explain all of these things to you again. So the next thing I wanted to do was talk about paragraph development. So we're going to take a look at this first paragraph. I'll read it aloud, but go ahead and follow along with me, and I'll make it a little bigger for you all to see. Okay. So this is a good paragraph. So it says, making texting while driving a primary offense would decrease traffic deaths. A 2006 study from Australia found that in just 2 Australian states, an estimated 45,600 people had near misses in their cars due to cell phone use. That's a striking number. The New York Times reports that when long-haul truck drivers texted in their vehicle, their collision risk was 23 times greater than when not texting. Furthermore, in California, a law requiring hands-free devices in cars saves an estimated 300 lives per year, clearly making this primary offense is a good idea. So this would be a good paragraph. It accomplishes what it needs, it has evidence, and it talks about that evidence and how it relates to their thesis, right? So if we take a look at this fully developed paragraph, it has some differences. So I'll go ahead and read this one to you as well. One reason all U.S. states should make texting while driving a primary offense is because such a law would decrease traffic deaths. And there is plenty of proof to support this fact. For example, a 2006 study done in Australia found that just 2 Australian states, an estimated 45,600 people, had near misses in their cars due to a cell phone use. And if there was a law banning texting in cars, the number of near misses and logically actual crashes would decrease significantly, ultimately saving lives. Additionally, the New York Times reports that when long-haul truck drivers texted in their vehicle, their collision risk was 23 times greater than when not texting. Clearly, when truck drivers took their eyes from the road to focus on their cell phones, they put many innocent people on the road in danger. Similar logic applies to drivers of cars who, although not generally hauling large loads, do have several thousand pounds of metal around them. These dangers could be mitigated with stronger laws against it in the first place. If texting while driving were a primary offense in all states, then a police officer would need no other reason to pull over a texter. Furthermore, the Public Policy Institute of California estimates that a law requiring hands-free devices in that state saves an estimated 300 lives per year. If disallowing talking on the phone could save while in the car in California could save that many lives, imagine how many thousands of lives in the US could be saved if texting were banned as well. Clearly, making this a primary offense is a good idea. And so both accomplish the same purpose, both use the same evidence, but there are some major differences. What are those differences? What are you seeing? Let's look at this one again. It's pretty short, but let's look at right after they use this citation. So they say that statistic that 45,600 people had near misses. They say that's a striking number, right? After this one, they say if there were a law banning texting in the car, how is this sentence different than the sentence that's just a striking number? How do you see that difference? And feel free to use the chat to answer questions too. Are you all able to hear me? Ah, let's see. Oh, restream. Thanks, Ilaria. Okay, so stream's not working. Thank you for letting me know. How about you go to the slides on your own? I don't want to keep you on here too long. I want to make sure I keep these conversations we have under 20 or under 30 minutes. That way I don't make you sit here and stare at your screen for that long. So go ahead, and if you're watching this video later, you can also do this. Go ahead and go to the week 11 agenda and homework, and those lecture slides are listed there as well, and you can take a look at that because you'll need to add things or discuss how you'll develop your paragraphs based on what we talked about. So based on what I said and what you know about developing paragraphs, what are some things that can help make your paragraph sound have more flow and not be as chunky, as well as connect back to your thesis? What are some things we can do? Yeah, transitions is helpful. And if you could see the paragraph, which I'll show the video, y'all can go watch this later, they use a transition in every sentence after evidence. And so they say, after they say their collision risk was 23 times greater than when not driving, they say clearly when truck drivers took their eyes from the road to focus on their cell phones, they put innocent people at risk on the road. And so this is not only in transition, but also calls back to the thesis, right? For the main argument. Any other thoughts on how we can better develop our paragraphs or add to our paragraphs to make it connect better with our overall argument and other reasons? What are some other ideas you have? Good, yeah, using those quotations and citing and making sure that you have those to support those assertions that you make on your own, right? Good, and I like that because this first paragraph we talked about does make assertions, but they just tack on evidence, right? But this fully developed paragraph connects those two. How does that assertion and that evidence relate to each other, right?